Okay, Mr. Chair, we are live.
Hello, this is the February 16th, 2021 meeting of the Town of Northborough, Massachusetts Water and Sewer Commission. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 18, in the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. To view or listen, there is a link that's been provided on the notice for the meeting that's been posted on the town website and various other locations. Our first item is approval of the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular meeting. At this point, I'll open it up to any commission members that have any comments or edits that they wish.
Mr. Chairman, I have a bunch of them, editorial and substantive.
Yep, if you can just speak up just a little bit, Bryant.
Okay, yeah, that better?
Yeah, does that sound good for everybody, Scott, Sarah?
Yep.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Under number 3 on the first page, I realize all those orders were actually rolled into one that we voted on, so it's just a question. Motion to execute the sewer betterment order. Should it be orders? I mean, we've got 3 of them there, or does that refer to the single order for those 3 things?
We'll amend it to be plural.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, and the number 4, there was the same issue. Under other business, in paragraph 2, halfway down there, Mr. Charpentier reports that he is working with engineer. We want to put the engineer or the project engineer. A lot of these are picky. Okay, and the last sentence in that paragraph, as you know, the water storage tank, can we put that, it was agreed that the water storage tank cannot be worked on? As you know, who, you know. Next paragraph. This one had me a little confused, but in that first paragraph, it ran on a little bit. For that first sentence in the paragraph, the Forbes Pond Pump Station has a new generator that has been installed and commissioned and that is now up and running. It's not bad. I just thought maybe we could put a period after commission and say the generator is now up and running. And the next sentence, the old generator was a manual switch generator that suffered a catastrophic mechanical failure. I'd suggest putting a period there and then say at that time, at the time of the failure, a new generator was not available. It's been installed, and we have some punch list items remaining to be taken care of. I'm on a roll here. In the next paragraph, same editorial thing. I would put a period after well water, primarily served by well water. The station does not receive a lot of flow during power during power outages. And I would say, however, as we experience more power outages and more people are installing generators in this area, it is receiving more flow. And the next sentence is okay. Next sentence says, we just signed a purchase order for the new generator at this location. There isn't one, correct?
That's
At this
correct. There is no generator.
Okay.
It's not a replacement. It's new.
So after that, or maybe back up, so it doesn't see a lot of flow during powered outages, that first sentence. Put this station does not have an existing power generator, backup generator. Installing a new generator sounded like we were replacing one, that's all. I'm on the fly here. Yeah, I put a period after has completed the electrical line work. We are awaiting notification on lead time. I would put after spring, installation in the spring. With this installation, the last pump station without backup power is at Town Hall. And let's see. The next paragraph. I wasn't sure if you were referring to that we were referring to the Western Terrace pump station or the Town Hall. That Mr. Charpentier states that the wetland protection work has been done minus the plantings have been approved and the building permit has been issued. Is that for Western Terrace?
That's for the garage.
Oh, that's for the garage. Well, that's what I was wondering. I didn't think it was either, but I thought it must be one or the other. The next paragraph, as of right now, there are now dramatic changes. I guess that's no dramatic changes in that last paragraph. And let's see. The last page in these the second paragraph, due to the virus, we are still not entering structures, reevaluating what the next step is, period. The expectation is that flow metering and video pipe inspections during the seasonal high groundwater will be conducted. And the next paragraph, I would just say two things. I was curious about the litigation with the city of Marlborough. Otherwise, we don't know what litigation it might be until we read down to the last one. And the last sentence, there is a tentative trial date set in April 2021 with council trial prep meetings to begin this week. With instead of and. And with that, I'll keep quiet.
Well done.
It's a good thing we have video replay that we can gather all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna send an amended version to Sarah, and I said, no, only confuse things more.
Commissioner Pepe, any comments?
No further comments.
Okay, I had just one on the first item where we referenced the Mass General laws. Actually, I guess the second item. Just consistency, looks like there's a couple of places where there's a period missing after an L in a few locations. Or where you reference the documents used at the end of the minutes, you don't use periods. So however you prefer to do it, either MGL with no periods or just add some missing L's, periods after the L's. And then my only other one is Bryant already mentioned the one that there seemed to be a missing kind of bridge, mentioning that the wetland replication stuff was related to the water garage project. And also you caught the redundant now, and now I guess being no. So any further comments, questions?
No.
Okay, this will be a motion by roll call to approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular meeting as amended. Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
Aye.
and Commissioner Meter, aye. Our next agenda item is water and sewer building project update. And for that, I'll defer to Scott Charpentier, Public Works Director. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a relatively brief update. As you look out the window, you see what's on the ground. There's lots and lots of snow. So for a couple of weeks, the contractor was coming out, digging out snow for 2 days, working for a day, and then coming back to dig out more snow. So he has temporarily demobilized until the weather stabilizes a bit. The frost walls and the footings are all in. The frost wall insulation is in, and the ground is blanketed where the slab is. Just due to the winter temperatures, he can't heat all that ground and get that slab poured with much confidence. We've got a good little freeze going. So he's demobilized from the building work. He's still doing a little bit of site work, bringing in the the domestic water and the sanitary sewer to the rear building. The main structure is not scheduled for delivery for a few more months till May. So he has plenty of time to come back once things thaw out a little bit and weather's more accommodating to get the slab poured. We haven't hit any substantial, knock on wood, problems on the project. Little amendments, changes here and there, nothing of substance. So far, everything's moving along as we expected.
Very good. Any questions from Commission?
No?
No? Okay.
My next step is to reach out to Assabet after February vacation and touch base with them to make sure that we're all on board for the fall of this year to begin the interior outfitting work. So that'll be a coordination effort on the town side. But that's my next communication to keep the project going forward.
All right. Very good. Our next item is Reservoir Dam Removal Letter of Support. And again, Scott Charpentier.
Thank you. So the primary crux of our meeting is to consider this letter. So as we all know, Northborough Water Department owns a reservoir dam located in Shrewsbury and Boylston. It has not served as a water supply source since the 50s. It serves no functional use to the owner, that's you gentlemen, and the town. So we've been ordered by the Office of Dam Safety to either repair it, remove it, or breach it. Repair makes no sense as it serves us no purpose. There is no recreational value to it. It has no abutting properties that have deeded rights to access. There are no docks on it. There is a public roadway, Reservoir Street or Road? Reservoir Road, I think it is. You know what it is, Sarah? Yeah.
I think it's street.
Yeah, Reservoir Street, right downstream, maybe 150 feet downstream. So there is a hazard potential. Is considered a significant hazard dam. So the state has a dam, seawall, and levee grant program that they administer every year. They administer a loan program as well as a grant program. The grant program provides 75% grant funding for design and permitting for removal of dams, levees, and seawalls and or repair of them. The grant application period is, the grant applications are due February 26th. We were working with Weston and Sampson on submission of a grant application to fund design and permitting of the dam. The expectation is the cost for the design and permitting, the soft costs, will likely be between $175,000 and $200,000. That's based on prior dam removals I've done personally, as well as an estimate that we received from another engineering firm about 2 years ago. So there's a 25% match as part of the grant program. I'll be presenting to the Financial Planning Committee in a week from this coming Thursday for our capital plan. And one of the items of the capital plan is the 25% match, $50,000. That would be utilized out of the Water Enterprise Fund's free cash reserves. So part of the grant application is to show letters of support. I've requested letters of support from the towns of Shrewsbury and Boylston. I sent those emails out this morning, sent them draft letters. I'm also seeking a letter of support from the Water Sewer Commission today. That will all be submitted as part of the grant application. So we've done a lot of legwork for this project, including the completion of a limited dam removal feasibility study that included sediment sampling, hydraulic and hydrologic analysis, as well as cost estimating associated with the soft and hard costs of removal. We've also done a emergency action plan with downstream inundation mapping through the HEC-RAS steady state flow software, which will provide benefit during the removal design because we've already done a floodway mapping downstream. So we've done a lot of legwork. I think we're in a pretty good position for grant consideration. And I'm hoping that the commission can review and vote in favor of the draft letter that was sent out to you.
Do the abutters have any recourse? I mean, you said no docs. I mean, could they submit letters against this?
They as part of the public notice associated with the MIPA permit, as well as the local conservation commission permits that will be needed through Boylston and Shrewsbury, the abutters will be notified. There is a streamlined environmental permitting process through MIPA for resource restoration projects like this. So rather than being burdened with a large land underwater impact or bank impact, they streamline that process with the understanding that you're restoring an ecological resource to what it once was.
Okay.
So they can comment on the project through the public hearing processes at the two conservation commissions as well as NEPA.
How much flow is coming into it? I mean, it varies, but
It's Rawson Hill Brook. It's a steady flow brook. It's what I would refer to as a run of the river dam. You know, what comes in goes out. Water is almost always at the spillway elevation. It does serve some flood attenuation, not substantial flood attenuation, and it's primarily for drinking water resources below the spillway elevation and above that thermal stratification line. So that's what comes in goes out.
Mhm.
Is that impoundment stratified?
It's relatively shallow, but there's
It's so shallow.
the thalweg should be what it's always been. I mean, it should be cool. You know,
Right.
I would think that's, you know, we wouldn't want to drink that deep. I don't know if the old intake was a variable elevation intake. I doubt it. I bet it was just a static intake. Mr. Chairman, do you remember?
No, the only thing I recall being a former Weston and Sampson employee is that Weston and Sampson designed the original water treatment plant. So I'm not sure if they were involved in the actual creation of the reservoir. They could be. At one time, I looked for the old drawings and I couldn't find anything. But in any event, I think given the history of all three of our commissioners here, I'm glad to see that we're finally moving on this. This has been one that we've been trying
Hanging
to
on.
deal with, for 20 years now, probably. So,
Yeah.
Tree removal and roots and all that problem.
just one question. I thought, anecdotally, I thought it was used for skating, but maybe I'm incorrect. Do you guys remember anything regarding that?
No.
I do remember way back when we first started talking about it, there was some concern about the abutting residents, but it sounds like, Scott, there's not much of a issue, at least that you're aware of.
I don't see any deeded rights. There's only 2 properties on Old Orchard Circle in Boylston that abut the water department's property, but they don't abut the pond. So we have land surrounding the impoundment. We certainly don't control the watershed, but we have a good swath of land that runs around the normal pool elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess hearing no other comments on the letter from the
I got
commission.
a couple comments, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Can we put a comma after conservation and recreation before Office of Dam Safety? And the other is, should it be from an environmental and economic perspective, or environment all right? Just preference, I guess.
Environment.
I'll have the AL.
All right. I'm done. Thank you.
I'm good. As long as I'm there to see it blowing up, I'm fine.
All right, so this will be a motion by roll call to send a letter of support for the reservoir dam removal to the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
Aye.
Commissioner Meader, aye. Next item is consideration of any other business that may legally come before the commission.
I have
I'll again
one-
defer to Public Works Director Scott Charpentier.
I just have one quick update on our operations. So we've had issues with communication between our MWRA valve and the garage and the water tank. When the way the system operates, the water storage tank elevation tells the garage what it is, and then the garage tells the valve to open or close based on what the tank elevation is. The communication lines between the valve and the garage have been problematic for a number of years. When they go down, we manually observe the tank elevation by going to the garage and then go to the valve and manually operate it. It's cumbersome, inefficient, and not the way to operate. So the communication went down 2 weeks ago and it never came back up. These are old Verizon copper lines. Verizon was out for 3 days, unable to track it down. They, not even figuratively, literally threw their hands up and said, I don't know and I can't help you. So we mobilized our SCADA consultant to come out, and 3 days later they had wireless communication established between both facilities. So we have 2 cellular nodes, one at the tank, one at the valve, and one at the garage that have battery backup communication gear. So we have started to implement in a very small fashion our SCADA project. So this is not something that's a Band-Aid that will be thrown out when SCADA comes in, if it gets approved at town meeting in April. This will be part of the SCADA system. One of our goals and objectives is to transition from a hardwired communication system to a wireless cellular communication system. This is one of our first steps in that direction.
Okay.
Just a couple of quick questions, if I could. Presumably, you've already had a path study that tells you whether or not you have direct line of communication or whether you need to bounce it different directions to get the signal to the garage. Is it a direct shot?
We did a radio path study in 2016. It was a partial radio path study. It was a desktop study. So it just used available topographic mapping. It did indicate the need for some repeaters. We have since gone to a fully cellular meter reading system. So it's all cellular. I've spoken with some other communities, and a lot of them are moving toward a cellular SCADA system. It's more reliable than having the fixed radio network. Fixed radio network tends to be reliable until something breaks, and then it takes a lot of time to get it repaired. A lot of these cellular devices are standard. I mean, I literally got it the next day from Verizon. So we're going in a cellular direction for the SCADA system. So the radio path study helped identify that there were, the desktop radio path study helped identify that there were shortcomings in some of our valleys. One of the issues, as everybody here knows, is you put sewer pump stations in valleys, and then you need to communicate them with radio waves. And that can be a problem when you're in a valley trying to bounce radio waves around. So cellular takes that issue away.
Good.
All right. Anything further?
No, we have our, as I indicated earlier, our capital projects will be presented to the Financial Planning Committee next week. I'll be on Zoom for that meeting. They have not changed from what was previously presented for FY22. They include the utility tractor, they include the SCADA system, and they include the dam removal. So there's nothing changed from 22. They've all been set into our rate study. Our rate study incorporates all cash uses and potential debt for these projects. So I'll be presenting that to the Appropriations Committee, Financial Planning Committee next week.
Okay. Any just rehashing any issues related to the last set of meter reads and rate increase, etc.?
No, our flat sewer rate customers were quietly happy, I assume, because their rates went down by about 30%. So I'm sure there was some smiles in the sewer only households. A few questions come up every quarter or so. Why is sewer twice as expensive as water? It's more difficult to treat sanitary sewer to discharge into a river than it is to take clean water from a reservoir and give it to you in your faucet. So people understand that. Other than that, no, things are doing well. Our revenue is on projections. Our proposed operating budget right now is at or slightly below, for FY22 is at or slightly below what's presented in our rate study for FY22. So we're going along, slow and steady, and things are moving along well.
And as I recall, there was one large water meter that still needed to be replaced. Is that still an issue, or has that been resolved?
That's been installed. Our meter company, Badger, has come up with a new endpoint communicator that's going to help us with some of our problem customers. There are some water meter communicators that are buried deep in concrete bunkers of basements, and they don't communicate very well down there. So there are some more robust communicators that we're going to evaluate with our vendor and determine. We did an evaluation of all meters that have communication issues, for more than 3 days, more than 3 times a month, and things like that. And we've identified maybe a dozen customers where that is the case. And we're going to talk to our vendor about rolling out the more robust communicating meters. It's just a communicating device, not the whole meter.
All right, any questions from commission? Julianne, selectman liaison, anything?
No, I just made a note to myself that I have to look up thermal stratification line to understand. But I'll report back next time how I do.
It's a fascinating topic, I'll have to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what?
You'll enjoy it.
This is all fascinating. You know, we take water and sewer so for granted, and wow, it's pretty complicated. So thank you all for your expertise and your work.
All right. Commissioner Pepe, you want to ask your typical question?
As to March?
Next meeting, yes.
Yes.
March 16th is the third Tuesday.
Just before St. Patrick's Day. Perfect.
It's good here.
Yeah, it sounds
Fine.
fine to me. Are we doing 3 o'clock or are we going later? 3?
3 o'clock is fine. It's going to be an update on appropriations and financial planning. Both of those meetings will be conducted at night and be very in-depth and long. So, you know, I'm sure our day recap will be adequate.
Dates between the Ides of March and St. Patrick's Day. Good
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, hearing nothing further, then this will be a motion by roll call to adjourn the meeting of the Water and Sewer Commission. Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
Commissioner Pepe,
Aye.
Commissioner Reader is aye, and hope everybody stays warm and safe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Likewise.